Welcome to the Intercut Podcast, the weekly show going over the TV, movies, and entertainment that people can't get away from. I am your co-host, Zachary Shevich, and joining me, a plastic spork with pipe cleaners for arms, it's Arturo Zurita.
How you doing, Zach? How's your week?
It's not too bad. I think I'm maybe coming down with a little bit of a cold. My throat's feeling that scratchiness, I guess, you know.
Well, you better clear up, because when I go to New York, I'm not gonna get sick the first week I'm there. First day I'm there.
I'm getting sick now so that I won't get sick.
So that when you get there,
here.
you're good. Let's talk about that plastic spork, shall we?
Forky?
I've had my man's.
We've both got Woody on our set.
My man's has been here. He's been waiting. I got the hat. Let me get the hat. What are your thoughts on the spork thing? Because I'm already hearing theories about this spork.
I mean, I haven't delved into any of the theories or anything like that. For me, I found the teaser itself to be a little bit underwhelming, but that being said, like, it's a teaser trailer. So, you don't necessarily want like a whole lot revealed to you in a teaser trailer.
I like how we went from Woody to Red Dead back to Woody. I don't know where I got this from. This is like part of the official set.
Was it?
Yeah, it's like part of the official set. I messed up the thing that's supposed to go like around it, but this is an actual Woody merchandise by Disney that came with the official costume.
Do you notice my shirt, by the way? I don't usually like to call attention to my shirts, but
hey, that's nice. Wait, I can't see. Is that Westworld?
No, it's a Woody Red Dead Redemption crossover.
I just saw a little bit of his beard, and for a second I thought, I was like, wait a minute, is he a robot? That's dope. That's cool.
Yeah, very on topic, I think.
Yes, sir.
For this week. Anyway, so speaking of the trailer, like, you know, I was a little underwhelmed at first, obviously, because it's just a teaser. It's not really showing you a lot. Also, it's kind of a jarring visual. I think a lot of people have been talking about the fact that unlike basically every Toy Story character ever, this isn't like a toy. This is like an object that was created. You can see the difference in it.
What is the difference between a manufactured toy that's sold by the millions and then a spork that you give life to?
Right.
What is Woody? Is Woody just not frames on a screen?
It's just what you put your imagination into, bro.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that's what it's proving.
But did you not feel like there's a big kind of visual difference? Like, it almost looks like he's a character from a different universe, which
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Jarring, I think.
Yeah, I think it's the way it was animated. Yeah,
which could be interesting, but I'm still curious. I did not feel a need to revisit the Toy Story universe after the beauty ending of Toy Story 3. Got very dusty in the theater for me, obviously, then, but I usually trust Pixar with this stuff.
We'll see. I mean, that's still an entire almost half a year away.
Yeah, no time soon.
Yeah.
In a little bit, we are going to talk about a new Star Wars TV show, as well as Christmas on Netflix and Boyfriend Venom. But first, we're going to start this week the way we start every week here on the Intercut Podcast with what we're watching. What you been watching, Art?
Zach, have you heard of a show called Forever on Amazon? It was recommended to me last week, and I was like, man, that sounds really good.
Just don't get into spoilers. I really don't want to hear any spoilers.
Oh, I'm sure you don't want to hear any spoilers, but for those of you who missed last week, there's this show on Amazon Prime called Forever. Now, I was watching the Romanoffs, which I thought was
cool.
Okay, have you caught up on that at all?
I've seen the first two. Okay. So, like, it's, you know...
Bro, the first one's racist as hell. What? It's just a wrong episode overall. I'm like an hour into it. No character has learned their lesson.
It's a tough series to kind of get into. There's definitely interesting things going on. I think a lot of the conversations are really well written, but yeah, I'm not necessarily fully in on Romanoffs yet. It feels a little like homework still, but I'm gonna give it a go.
So I'm just gonna keep it all centered on Amazon Prime shows, because that's pretty much what I was binging. That was one, and I'm only like an hour into it. I was reading up on the other stuff, and I was like, what's the anthology series from the guy who made Mad Men? And every single episode is from they're all all the characters are part of or are connected to the same bloodline, the Romanoffs.
Yeah, it's a really incredible idea for an anthology series. I don't necessarily know if it's an incredible like concept to put into production for an anthology series, in that everybody in who the show is centered on either thinks they are or they actually are connected to the Russian royalty Romanov bloodline.
Mm-hmm. So my biggest fear of that is like, that sounds really dope that they could all be connected. I don't give a damn about the old lady in the first one.
Yeah.
Right? And then I'm reading up a bit, and like the first thing that pops up is supposedly episode 5 is a counterattack on the Me Too movement.
I haven't heard that.
A piano teacher gets accused of something, and then it turns out that I don't know if they ever answered or not. And the whole episode is kind of saying that the worst thing you can do to a human is to falsely accuse them. The worst thing. You know, there's nothing worse than, I don't know, maybe the accusation being. So I'm hearing this, and then I read a little bit past the article. Yeah, you want to know who's a part of the Me Too movement accusations?
That would be one Matt Weiner.
Yeah. Oh, is that how you say it, Weiner? Okay, well, I was just thinking Weiner because that's exactly what he's accused of. And supposedly he doesn't handle it so well. Now, again, I'm in the first episode, but it's kind of interesting that he kind of went for The Hunt. Great movie, highly recommend it, but it turns out he missed a little bit. But that's a series on Amazon, and it's interesting the way they're releasing it, too. It's not just a binge, it's weekly?
Yeah, weekly. I think they're putting out a new one.
Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And each one is the length of a feature film, so it's a big watch.
Yes, it is. So yeah, that's the Romanoffs. If y'all have gotten a little bit forward ahead, what do you think about that Me Too movement episode? Let me know.
Let us know if we should keep
let
watching.
Us know.
I'm going to try and keep watching.
Yeah. Mrs. Maisel, I went to go back to watch. It turns out I had only seen 5 episodes.
Oh, and there's, I believe, 6 in the first season, or 8?
I don't know. I had just missed them. It said continue watching. I said, okay. Like, I sparsely go on Amazon Prime, so when I went back, I was like, what? I still got some. I thought it was season 2. Season 2 doesn't come out until December, so I was like, I guess I got a few more moments with Mrs. Maisel. But, yeah, forever. I would have not even found it. Amazon, if y'all think Netflix's homepage, that things get lost, no. You can at least still find shirkers on the Netflix homepage by accident. You know what I mean?
Right.
Dark still appears on the Netflix homepage. Bro, you cannot find anything unless it's nominated for an Emmy on Amazon. They will not tell you anything. Literally, the first line is Emmy nominated.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. I have like 4 or 5 categories, and like it feels like whatever new movie released this weekend, it comes up in every single one of those categories.
Yes.
There's not a lot of variety. There's not a lot of quirky categories the way that Netflix has. It's really hard to find stuff on Amazon.
I'm not going to watch Bosch. Stop recommending me Bosch.
Please stop recommending me Bosch.
So, like, okay, cool. I'm looking through some of the stuff there, not exactly sure what to watch. I remember you had recommended Forever, so I go and I pop this bad boy on. Man, the episode was so good. It was like deja vu. I almost felt like I knew how the episode was going to end. And it intrigued me to watch episode 2, and I was like, man, this is really intriguing me to see how episode 2 is going to end. Also, so, without spoiling too much, it's a couple that made a promise together forever. You could explain a bit more.
Yeah, they're married. It's Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen, so 2 SNL veterans. And this is also coming from the writer of Master of None, Alan Yang, who co-wrote the series with Aziz Ansari. So it's got a little bit of that Master of None.
It does.
Sort of like contemplative, like let's have a conversation and get to the bottom of this.
Tell me the character that does security who was smoking with his friend. Didn't remind you of Aziz.
Yo, that's Anis. That's Aziz's cousin or brother? That's an Ansari. There's an Ansari in that show, so
I'm not stereotyping. No, legit, I was hearing it and I was just like, it's the same inflections Aziz does. And I was like, okay. Hey, what do you know? Well,
so yeah, but so it's got that kind of Master of None vibe, but whereas Master of None is very much kind of like a show about contemporary living, this is a little bit more that like about what is marriage and how does marriage affect you in the long run.
What is the long run?
What is the meaning of I will be with you forever really mean? in the context of Forever. If you like Maya Rudolph and Fred Armisen, this is definitely a good, although somewhat more serious turn for them. It's not a drama, but they're not like hilarious big characters the way that these two normally are, I think, when they show up in comedies.
Because it's a good show, but what makes it are the little conversations, and they do one thing each episode that just gets me, right? So they'll have like a conversation about, you got 30 minutes. What are you going to do with 30 minutes? Oh, well, we'll get a massage. No, what if it's a bad masseuse? Well, we'll run a bath. No, by that time, you're not going to have, by the time the bath fills up. Like, dumb conversations like that really make you feel like you know these characters. There's another Amazon show, my final one to wrap it up, that does it way better. But it was stuff like that. And then the lore of it. Episode 4, where they show you something about touching someone's neck and what that does. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It gets to some pretty interesting stuff.
Cool stuff dealing with lore. I'll just keep it at that. But, I think it's episode 5 or 6.
6 with Jason Mitchell and Hong Chow. Is maybe one of the best episodes of TV all year.
It's up there.
It just comes out of nowhere, kind of.
I looked back and I said, what am I watching?
Yeah.
This is the same episode. Until I started looking at the house, I was like, okay, that episode comes out of nowhere. I love and hate that episode at the same time. You know what I mean? Because I was like, damn, that was a good episode. No, wait. I don't agree with anything that they did in that episode.
I feel like if this was a more popular show, that would be a great LME episode. Like,
that episode makes me want to make, like, first of all, what happens in the first 2 episodes is enough of a pitch for a title. Right? Is enough for like, this happens, let me explain. But that alone, like, that was a damn good episode. I was surprised.
Cool. So I'm very glad you got that far in Forever because I don't know if it's one of my favorite shows of the year, but it is one of the shows that I've been thinking about a lot. And like, it definitely gave me a lot to think over. I thought the questions that it ponders are really interesting. I don't know if I love the way the show ends, but I really enjoyed the journey of it.
Yep. I want to say it's Amazon's version of Easy, kind of.
Right.
A little bit.
Last week I compared it to The Good Place, but written by the master of none guys.
Okay, yeah. I only know bits of The Good Place, but I'll agree with you on that. But you know what the best show on Amazon Prime is, right?
Have we talked about it already? Or?
I think we mentioned it last week.
Homecoming.
Bro, I finished. This is the best show. This is the best show on Amazon Prime. Is not playing anymore. They said, all right, y'all ain't going to watch Mozart in the Dark?
Really
okay, let's bring in the podcast shows. I'm very curious to see what they did with lore. This thing is insane. Yeah. I finished it. Those aspect ratios?
Yeah. It's really cool. It really throws you off.
Xavier Dolan wants his cut of the...
Yeah, so, I mean, Julia Roberts is the star of this. I think it's the first TV project for her, and it's kind of an amazing role for her. She's kind of an actress who I think has sort of been wandering through movies, not really finding a great role.
I checked her IMDb. Mother's Day.
Right, like what's been the last Julia Roberts like good
I looked
role?
Through
Maybe
all of them,
Oceans
they were bad.
Or something.
Not even they were like I'm looking at this. I was like, man, she was chasing the bag for a little bit. She wasn't trying. She wasn't trying. And now with this, I don't like Ben is back, but at least with Ben is back,
she's in Oscar conversations.
Julia's back. Yeah, she's back. But dude, this show. I'm watching it and I'm like, all right, it's cool, it's dope. I trust Sammy. Take me wherever you're taking it. We get to like 3, 4, okay, 5, okay, 6, okay, 7.
Yeah.
She was just in the episode we were talking about from Forever, playing the assistant.
Yeah. Hong Chow.
So I go from one to another. They owe this lady an apology for what they made her do in Downsizing. Okay, first off, that was wrong of what y'all did in Downsizing to her. She's got it.
Yeah, she's one of my new favorite actresses.
No, she's
also
got it.
I don't know if you know, she's the voice of Pickles Aplenty on the new season of BoJack.
Oh, I went straight to the IMDb and I said, "What, bro? No, this is like one. I still can't believe that she's the lady from Downsizing."
Yeah.
Then she's playing the secretary over here, completely different role. To what I then see her over here in that episode of Forever. Yo, no, she's not. She's not playing around. She's got a future on her. But did you see the after credits?
I don't know if I did. So I'm still 3 episodes from the end.
So
That said, like, I've listened to the podcast. Maybe I know where it's going, but
I don't know, because that's what
There's
I
things
want to
that
go.
are
I
different.
want to go listen to the podcast specifically for this, because the thing that got me the most was the visual things, the playing of the aspect ratios. So did you get with the first one? Did you get the first one?
like the timeline, you mean?
The the mommy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
right. So there's a second one where it's the reverse.
Mm-hmm.
It's how it gets there. I'm like, okay, that can't be in a podcast. But the other one was, there's a visual thing that they show you, and I don't want to fully spoil it for you, but you've already seen it. It's a reoccurring thing. It's kind of like the Titanic rising thing. Remember when you hear it, and that's what I was getting at with Forever. Forever has those moments that, like, oh man, these feel like kind of real characters, but it's so cartoony, and obviously the aspect of it. In Homecoming, when they share a moment like the Titanic thing, you're like, ah, that's such a good tale within friends. They made this guy believe that Titanic had a sequel or something, and then you go back and there's that one moment when they go, what's what's that? But the final shot of Homecoming, you'll message me about it, you'll DM me about it. The final shot of Homecoming, I missed it. My mom's like, did you see that? I go back and I'm like,
No, this is the final shot or the final shot in the after credits?
no, the final shot,
Okay.
not the after credits. The final shot hits you. It hits you. I want to know what to compare it to, but this was like, no, and it's the smallest thing, and you go, it's good.
All right.
It makes you want season 2 now.
Yeah, we might have to do an after credits on this when I'm done with Homecoming, because
It's good. Highly recommend.
I'm hearing a
it.
lot of people really into the show.
So that's my recommendation of the week. Don't forget to follow us on the Intercom podcast.
Amazon's not playing around.
Amazon's not playing around. That made up my week. But what have you been watching, Zach?
Well, I've seen a few of those Amazon shows. I definitely highly recommend them all. Particularly Mrs. Maisel, which we didn't talk too much about. It's really good. Make sure you're caught up before season 2 comes back. For me, the main thing I've been watching was Boy Erased. Have you caught up with it yet?
I caught Boy Erased. Oh, we caught it the same weekend. That's right, but I wasn't able to come back in time to record something for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both saw. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so Boy Erased is the new movie from Joel Edgerton, who it's his third film as a director. He made The Gift a couple years ago, which I think surprised a lot of people, just how good it was as well. This is a much different story in tone. This is a very serious drama. It's about a boy who is sent to a gay conversion therapy camp. Joel Edgerton plays the lead pastor or psychologist, whatever his title is, at that camp. Nicole Kidman and Russell Crowe are the boy's parents. Lucas Hedges plays the teenager who is sort of conflicted. He wants to be straight, but knows he has these feelings and is sort of trying to buy into this Christian conversion therapy. And I think there's a lot of things that the movie does really earnestly in a way that I can't really criticize it for. I think, you know, it's trying to approach this idea with a fair. It's trying to approach this idea even-handed, you know? It's not trying to dismiss the idea of conversion therapy outright. It's trying to take these people for their word that they're attempting to, and then I think it kind of shows the damage that it does. Whereas I think another movie that we talked about earlier this year, Cameron Post, it's not so much about the damage it does, it's more about like the people and their lives and how they're nuanced and just how I think it's much better on the characters. I didn't really feel like there were characters in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to just leave it at that. 100%. Lucas Hedges did really good in the 90s. But that's because he was playing Sid from Toy Story. I don't know what it is about Lucas Hedges. That line towards the end where he goes, "It's either me or God." I was like, I don't know about you there. You're right. It does feel like Joel Edgerton, like that's where I talk about intentions. Like Joel Edgerton didn't make this movie of like, I'm going to come off holier than thou than everything. I don't think that at all. But you're right. When it comes to like actually feeling for the characters, and I'm not saying this isn't going to connect to people at all. What I'm saying is Yo, Cameron Post though.
Does it better.
Cameron Post takes it in like that. Felt like it was just scratching the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish that one was getting more. And the reason I'm happy Ben is Back is coming out is because it gives us an incentive, not really an incentive, but an opportunity to boost this movie, because this is out on VOD. That just skid right through. This won Sundance.
Yeah, it did not get the hype this summer that it deserved, but it's a really, really effective movie with a similar plot. Desiree Arcavin wrote and directed that one, and Chloe Grace Moretz in the starring role. We also really like Sasha Lane, who's in this movie.
Like everyone in the movie. But
yeah.
It's good. It is good. I wasn't going in there to hate it or anything. But maybe you like it more than I do, but I'm not the biggest Lucas Hedges fan.
Nah, I mean, I'm not even sure I'd go good. I'd say it's okay. I mean, I think there's a lot of solid acting in it. I wouldn't be upset, just kind of bored if it ended up in the discussion for some acting awards later in the year.
No. See, I'm still upset he got nominated for supporting for... Because I don't think he's a good actor, but I thought he was a bad actor in Manchester by the Sea.
I disagree with you on that one.
Bro, he talks like a Muppet.
The freezer scene is all. The freezer scene is all I will say.
Trash.
But I think that the thing with this movie is like it's just a lot less nuanced, a lot less inventive in its approach. It's much more of a character. It's much more of a drama, a family drama.
Yep.
Than Cameron Post is, and I think because of that, it sacrifices some of Cameron Post's personality.
Agreed.
Now, maybe if you are someone who hasn't seen this type of story before,
it'll definitely
the
hit
movie
you.
will work for you. But it's not exactly like a very new story to be told on film. There's been similar ones to it, and I think there's better versions of it.
Mm-hmm. You haven't seen Ben is Back, have you?
No.
Everything you just said, if you would have seen Ben is Back, that's why I'm not that bad on Boy Erased.
Right.
But if you've seen Ben is Back, everything you just said about like it being like a family drama, sort of like, which is good, keep it intimate, but man, I cannot wait. But first of all, it's written by his dad or directed by his dad.
Ben is Back, yeah.
Yeah, which is so crazy because he was there at our screening, and it took me a while to realize, oh, damn, you're his dad.
Yeah, Hedges.
He was talking about how he needed to not audition, but find an opening to cast his own son. And when they were on set, the only rule that they had was Luke could never call him dad. He had to call him Mr. Hedge. I don't know what he called him. But okay. Courtney B. Vance is in the movie. And when he found out that it was his dad, and he was doing that, Courtney was like, no, you are not. And then, what's his name? The director would be like, no, this is our agreement. Nah, I don't know. It's just, both of them are okay, but I feel the same way for Beautiful Boy. So as much as I want to say, yo, toss my boy Timothy, swap him in there, pull a, what was that movie? Greta's movie?
Lady Bird?
Pull a Lady Bird and swap out the actors midway through?
Yeah.
I don't even know if that'll save it, because even Beautiful Boy, I don't know, fell flat for me, so.
Yeah, it seems like those movies kind of haven't necessarily been the haven't been creative successes in the way that a lot of people had hoped they would be. They've been more actor spotlights, and even as actor spotlights, they're not necessarily the best, not necessarily the ones that are going to be dominating into award season.
They just know they were bubbling, so it's like every rap artist where they're like, yo, Quavo, Travis, just hop on there. It's not a good song, but you listen to it because it's got them in it.
Right.
I don't know. That's how I feel.
Yeah. We will move on, but let us know what you've been watching in the comments down below. We're going to get to the yay or nay, where we talk about the latest happenings in the entertainment news industry, starting with The Mandalorian is no longer the only Star Wars show in development at Disney+, the forthcoming Disney streaming network. Rogue One star Diego Luna is set to reprise his role as Cassian Andor in a show that will begin filming next year. The show is being described as a spy thriller about daring missions to restore hope to a galaxy in the grip of a ruthless empire. Art, yay or nay, 2 live-action Star Wars shows is enough to get you to sign up for Disney+.
No, but running a channel called Let Me Explain This because I know we've said this. We had we said the joke about the all of these streaming services. We're gonna need a cable subscription to bring it all back. So I'm gonna be watching it because I know not everyone's gonna get Disney Plus. I feel like a lot of people are going to get it because of Star Wars, but you're getting to a point you're gonna have to sacrifice one over the other.
Yeah.
So I'm biased because I'm going to get it regardless of.
Right. Being in the business of talking about entertainment kind of changes our perspective on this.
2 Star Wars shows is smart, though. That's going to get people to talk. Plus that animated one that they got coming out. It's smart.
It's smart I think it will get people to be curious at least about the service.
I feel it's a pointless story.
Wonder, we're making a big deal in entertainment news recently about the fact that Disney's sort of pulling back on all of these Star Wars spin-offs and sequels, and it's sort of like a little bit of a red flag to me that they're like, all right, let's stop it with the new Star Wars, but hold on, here's a bunch of new Star Wars.
Wait, so this is Diego before Rogue One?
I guess so, yes.
Spoiler alert, because he died.
Right?
So what's the point? Like, can you imagine Freddie Mercury's story before his big moment?
I don't know. It sounds like it'd be kind of a bad movie, but I haven't seen it yet.
So it's just Solo. The 10 episodes. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Give me the Disney Channel original movies and I'll gladly sign up. That's all I need.
I think they might be available. I'm hoping they'll be available. Better be. Do you have, with our limited information, that this is a show with Diego Luna and the other show is being helmed by Jon Favreau, do you have any preference between the 2 shows? Are you more excited about one or the other?
Jon Favreau's because his at least sounds like it's going to be different.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there.
That's it.
In the weeks leading up to Christmas, Netflix plans to unveil a variety of Christmas-themed movies as well as special one-off Christmas-themed episodes of Netflix shows like The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, The Great British Baking Show, Neo Yokio, Fuller House, and Nailed It. Art, yay or nay, you like the idea of getting a Christmas-themed episode to help tide over the wait between new seasons of your favorite Netflix shows?
100%. Having more content in between periods of time. Yeah, I've never understood when people... I get it in certain places, but whenever someone's willing to make an entirety of another product while you wait, I don't see it as filler. This is a special. Like, that's literally the name of it. Extending a season when it doesn't need to be, yeah, that's another thing. But this is, like, these one-offs, I go back to one of my favorite ones, Black Mirrors.
Right.
They can be really good. BoJack Horseman's.
Yeah, BoJack had a couple
so the
great
fact that it's
one-offs.
coming from...
A Christmas one, in fact.
Exactly. So the fact that it's coming from Netflix, who's already helmed some good ones, yeah, I'm excited for it. That's super cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think any way that Netflix continues to sort of bust open the model for distribution, I'm not saying this is like the most innovative thing in the world. Obviously, we've had like Doctor Who Christmas specials and stuff like that. Yeah. But, we don't see it for a lot of TV shows. And I think getting these little like mini episodes or just little trips back into the universe of that show, it's great, and for the BoJack ones in particular, which aren't new, I think it's kind of cool also because they're slightly in a different style than the BoJack episodes.
Yes.
Like, in the Christmas one, it's basically just Todd and BoJack watching an old horsing around and commenting on it. But it's still fun, and it's still a chance to see these characters that we may love in another capacity.
I like when they're able to do things like that, where it's a way of bringing in a new type of storytelling, testing out something that you wouldn't throughout the season. But I'm curious because, again, like with a thing like Netflix, or Halloween specials, or I don't know, election specials or summer specials or any of that stuff, it opens it up because, I mean, I don't know if you're going to mention this in a bit. Outlaw King?
I'm not, but we can talk about that.
I thought it was boring. The opening shot, it's incredible. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. I don't even know what... Outlaw King was edited because it was on Netflix. So in other words, he's got this like 3-hour movie that he released at TIFF, which is really interesting when you think about it. Like Netflix really is changing the game in things that we don't even realize. It's not even test audiences anymore. The test audience was people who paid money, right? Y'all know how expensive those TIFF tickets are, like $20, $25. Tested it in front of that audience, read the audience, and then was given the opportunity to go back and chop 22 minutes off because it was on Netflix. And I started thinking, yeah, what has streaming services done for a bunch of artists? How many times does Kanye submit his super late? Because he's able to literally just drop the files. Sometimes he messes up the track names. But Netflix is that one where a show like Sabrina that I think filmed back-to-back. Like, as soon as they finished the first season, they went straight into filming season 2. They already knew it was going to get greenlit. And that allows the opportunity to get some pieces to make a holiday special.
Totally.
To do other things. So it's like a big YouTube.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see some show that would experiment with like putting out one episode every month or something like that. I think we're in the age of streaming services, and we can get a little bit more experimental with the ways in which we see these episodes.
Pick your ending.
Right, we're getting choose your ending apparently with Netflix at some point. I'll just be crossing my fingers for Mrs. Maisel Hanukkah special this year. Fans of Breaking Bad last saw Jesse Pinkman speeding away from his hardships in the finale to the incredible AMC show, but the character is set to return in an upcoming feature film sequel to the series, with the show's creator Vince Gilligan set to write and executive produce the movie. It appears that Aaron Paul will be involved in the project as well, although Bryan Cranston commented in an interview that he hasn't been sent a script, so Art, yay or nay, you want to find out what happened to Jesse Pinkman after the events of Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I'm not. I know a lot of people are like very iffy because Breaking Bad ended at a point where it was just like, to some people, perfection. There's always the argument about The Wire versus Breaking Bad, and a lot of people are up on Breaking Bad. It's very easy to compare it to, because it has an ending, to The Walking Dead, and people going, you see, that is the perfect. You know, it's one of those where it's like it's a really good show, but the more that other shows mess up, the more this one gets highlighted. You know, it's that early death type of thing. It died a legend, or at least it wrapped up before it could become a villain.
The corpse.
Yes. That said, Better Call Saul is a thing, right? So I've only seen the first season, but some people are talking about how like, no, Better Call Saul has some like crazy directing and like the storytelling and the pacing, and that it's still doing its thing. And if they're able to make that into a movie, sure, because it seems like AMC is just going to come out with a bunch of feature films, Walking Dead, that.
Right.
That's really going to confuse people when AMC theaters and AMC network aren't really the same thing. So now they're, if it's got the same team behind it, they're still making stuff like Better Call Saul. Why not?
Right. Like Better Call Saul actually has this weird thing where a little bit of the storyline actually takes place after the events of Breaking Bad. So they're clearly, they haven't really developed it as much, but the Cinnabon stuff is supposedly taking place after the events of Breaking Bad. So they're clearly thinking about what happened in the wake of those events. And if they were smart enough to develop a show that's as critically acclaimed and as beloved as Better Call Saul, granted, Better Call Saul is nowhere near on the level of love that Breaking Bad got, but it's not like it's some crappy show. It's not like
it's really not
some cheap, knockoff or something. It's a really intelligent, smartly crafted show that, happens to be about legal documents instead of meth, so it's usually a little bit more boring. I would be very happy to see more Aaron Paul as Jesse Pinkman. I think that was a great role for Aaron Paul. I think Vince Gilligan is a great writer, and if he thinks there's more to the material, then I'm going to trust him over my vague idea for it. That being said, I do hope that if we see Bryan Cranston, it's only in flashback capacity. I don't want
it has to be
there to be some. I don't want there to be some miracle, oh no, he wasn't dead actually.
Oh no, wait, you already know this. Blue Sky resurrects the dead. Oh, would you want to see a Mr. Robot movie? Because Sam said from the beginning. I remember this. Before season 1 ended, he said, "I'm only doing 5." Like, oh, okay, I said, "Nah, I'm only doing 5. 5's around the corner." He's like, "I said I'm only doing 5."
Yeah.
Would you want to see a movie about that?
I think Sam's at the point where I would trust him if he wants to do that.
So you're more if the person who's making it,
right?
Is the one pioneering it.
I don't want to see some random person. I don't want to see Kurtzman and Orky or whatever their names are do the Mr. Robot movie. If Sam Esmail is going to do the Mr. Robot movie, I can do a Mr. Robot movie.
I agree.
All right, so we're going to get to the rough cuts and do a couple quick hit news topics, starting with Will Ferrell getting serious in a new movie for Gus Van Sant in Amazon Studios. The Prince of Fashion is a drama adapted off of a 2016 GQ article about writer Michael Chabon taking his 13-year-old son to Men's Fashion Week in Paris. Art, yay or nay, you're interested in more dramatic roles from Will Ferrell?
Sure. We had said about that one that he's going to do, the remake.
Yeah, so he's going to be in Force Majeure, although we don't know how dramatic that'll be. But, you know, he did do stuff like Everything Must Go and Stranger Than Fiction, which I like.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always in favor of comedic actors showing their range. I don't think he should abandon comedies, but I don't think he's going to
I don't know about that Watson and Holmes movie, so maybe. But I still say, and I know you love that movie, Punch Drunk Love. I don't think anyone's been able to hit it like that one has, so we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Netflix's planned theatrical rollout of Alfonso Cuarón's Roma hit another snag when Alamo Drafthouse announced they won't be screening the film. The theater chain and Netflix failed to come to terms, and so Roma has been denied access to one of only 4 New York City theaters capable of playing the movie in 70mm. Art, yay or nay, Netflix is doing Cuarón dirty.
Why?
So apparently it was a disagreement over some of the terms in terms of how the money would be split. Netflix wanted to rent out the theaters, but Alamo Drafthouse wouldn't let them. Netflix wanted to guarantee a 4-week theatrical run in the 70mm theater, and exclusively. That was something Alamo Drafthouse wasn't willing to do.
You ever get those comments back when you were doing multiplex? Or when you were doing the movie mob thing, or maybe even here in the intercut, where someone tells you what you're doing wrong as a YouTuber.
More often than I
as a
like
YouTuber,
to, yeah.
That your videos, you should fix this with your videos, because you don't know what you're talking about, and not that they need anything to back it up, but if you're not going to back it up with logic, having 0 subscribers with no videos to show me that, hey man, I want to trust you. You know what?
Right.
Yeah, I've seen your stuff. I'm going to take your advice.
The expert.
Isn't there? What theaters is Netflix on? What do they know about 4 weeks with 70mm? It's getting to them.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if you think you're the big deal, it's a little weird to suddenly put yourself in this position of trying to. You have to deal with the theaters, and Netflix just isn't used to going to other people's demands. They kind of just throw money at the problem and assume it'll be fixed.
Netflix is in debt. That's why they don't want to release their stuff.
Yeah.
Netflix is I'm trying to think about how many Netflix users and the amount of money that they're spending. Can it actually add up? I don't know if it does. I think they're just pretending.
Yeah, I mean, I think Netflix is banking on spending a lot less in the future, but they keep spending more. So
because they're scared.
See?
They're losing movies. They're scared.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We'll see. When Kingsman 3 comes out on November 8th of next year, it won't feature the star of the first 2 films. Taron Egerton revealed to Yahoo that he won't be in the next Kingsman film, though he mentioned that it doesn't mean he'll never be in another Kingsman film again. Art, yay or nay, you're willing to watch more Kingsman without the boy Eggsy?
No, I don't even want to watch Kingsman anymore. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I'm not super into those movies.
I want to see Taron.
Yeah, I'm cool with Taron.
I want to see him move on, dude.
Go do more stuff. Go do your weird experimental Elton John movies or whatever.
Yeah, go do Robin Hood with Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
Maybe not that. Venom opened in China to a massive 111 million, making it the second highest grossing opening for a superhero movie in China. And the 5th largest opening weekend for an imported film there ever. Perhaps some of that success can be owed to Venom's Chinese marketing campaign, which features Venom as an adorable boyfriend. Art, yay or nay, boyfriend Venom is the future of movie marketing.
You know how that was the joke for us in America leading up to it,
Yeah.
you know, everyone was just like, knock, knock, let the devil in type of stuff. And they were like, ooh, Venom with the tongue and stuff like that. And, oh, he's such a romantic, like a turd in the wind. Either someone over here pitched it to them and they said, yo, just do it. Just run with it. We learned this is a meme movie,
Right.
if anything else. Or they legit think maybe that was. Maybe we weren't making up our own memes to it. That was the original plan all along.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a romantic comedy.
The memes are a really powerful tool. I remember when Straight Outta Compton came out and everybody was posting those like straight out of whatever your hometown is things. It's such a simple little thing, but that's the kind of thing that everybody now knows. Straight Outta Compton is coming. Let's get ready. Straight Outta Compton's coming.
Right.
And you know, that's better cachet on the internet than a really good ad. A really good trailer is only going to get seen by people who want to watch trailers. Art's never going to see it. He doesn't watch trailers anymore. But if you have a really funny meme based on your movie before the movie comes out, it's unavoidable now for anybody who's on social media. And I think you can attribute some of Venom's success even to the way it kind of became a meme. You know, I think there's a lot of people seeing it now kind of for the lulls.
100%. When I made my video, a lot of people said, "Dog, this is too ridiculous. I got to go check this out for myself." Then they come back and go, "Yo, what the heck?" So
yeah, if
any word of
movies
mouth
want to lean into their meme-iness or meme-worthiness, I think that's going to be a smart financial decision. I don't know if it's going to be a smart creative decision, but at least a smart financial one.
No, it's Venom. You know what I mean? Like if someone memed Roma, they're sort of
Right.
like, you're all taking the creative. It's Venom.
Yeah. GIFs of washing
Yeah.
driveways. Anyway, that's all for yay or nay. Let us know what you thought of this week's topics in the comments down below. We're going to move on to our topic of the week, and this week's topic. Director Joe Russo revealed in an Instagram Q&A that the current cut of Avengers 4 sits at 3 hours long, 20 minutes longer than Infinity War's 160-minute runtime. This news comes on the heels of an Uproxx article making its rounds on film Twitter called Attack of the 2-Hour and 20-Minute Movie, which criticizes movies like First Man, Bad Times at El Royale, and 22 July for feeling overstuffed and overlong. So, Art, let me ask you, can movies be too long?
Yes. And no. No, you're going to say?
I know, we solved it.
We solved it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you. Shout out to Uproxx for the article. I agree with all three movies that they mentioned.
Yes.
I think all three of them are overstuffed. And I like some of those movies that mentioned, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some of them do feel like they're trying to reach the 2-hour 30 for some reason. Like it's not YouTube watch time. You don't got to cross a certain threshold of it. Usually it's been the opposite when it comes to movies in theaters, because the more that you're able to get in 90 minutes, you're saving up another time slot to let it get played, another showtime that can be available to make more money. Mm-hmm. That said, this question was recently posed on, would you rather have Avengers 4 be rated R or 3 hours long? Rated R makes no sense to me because it's Avengers. It's not like a Fox movie, a Fox Marvel movie.
Right.
But the 3-hour one, I get excited when it's a movie I'm looking forward to. I want it to be 3 hours. Because these are characters who I love spending time with. Specifically, the Russo brothers, who know how to take care of these characters, specifically for a movie that I want to play in Dolby, IMAX. I want to order food. So yes, I want it to be 3 hours. When you go to a game, are you cool with it going to overtime?
Right. Like, if it's exciting, you want more excitement.
So why would you not want that? Exactly. I don't want to cut out. I want the whole piece of it, if it needs to be, I guess is the question. Because then we come to these other ones where you're like, well, this is a brand new story. Let me see. Let me go sit through this, and maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't. You'll get something like Justice League. Very similar to the Russo brothers, but it's not the Russo brothers making that movie. Mm-hmm. So when that one comes out to being 3 hours long, I would love to have a 3-hour long DC movie. Not that one. But
there are people for whom Justice League was great at that length, or maybe would have even been better at a different length. So, is it
or a different cut?
Is it fair to say like, well, it's fine if the movie's good because
we're not arguing can a movie be too long? It's can a movie be bad or good? You know, that then it comes from to like different perspectives. I think it always comes down to, and I think that's probably what the article said, but it knew it was baiting people into kind of putting everything in a blanket of everything is too long when it's really not. It comes down to it. I'm sure that person loves Goodfellas.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that's outlined in the article is this idea of the like good but not great movie necessarily getting this extended runtime. I think of a movie like Bad Times at El Royale in particular, which, you know, while it's a fun movie, at its absolute best, the best version of that movie is kind of just going to be like a fun thriller. It's not going to be
TNT.
Like yeah, exactly.
Did you know?
So if your object is to be like engaging, kind of breezy entertainment, you should have an engaging, kind of breezy runtime. I think
he wanted it to be more, though. I think that's where it is.
Maybe that's the case. But I think that's sort of where maybe sometimes we run into these issues with these projects. I know for me, as less of a fan of the superhero genre than you and than many of the people we end up talking to here on YouTube and Intercut, I see some of these 2-hour plus runtimes for Marvel movies or DC movies, and I just get like a sinking feeling in my chest of I got to set aside like 4 hours to go do this. That being said, you know, I thought Infinity War was great, so I'm not necessarily complaining about when the movie is actually good. Although I didn't necessarily think it needed to be 160 minutes long. It's another story. I don't know. I think a lot of times you have to sometimes let the movie's feeling dictate how long it is. Sometimes you feel the movie's pace. There's that, critics say things like this all the time, but it's a 3-hour movie, but it felt like 90 minutes, or it's a 90-minute movie, but it felt like it was a day long. You know, those things can be true when you're sitting there because pacing is so important to movies.
Or that critic has been in a film festival all day and they haven't eaten. You ever see those?
Yeah, that happens too.
I didn't know you've seen them. Bro, you go see them at Sundance all the time. This movie was ridiculous and it was cold pacing. No, you were just cold. You forgot to wear your socks today, sir. You want to know what I think it comes down to? And you had mentioned it, and we even talked about it a little bit earlier in the podcast. The director themselves, and like you just said, does the movie warrant it?
Right.
We just talked about Outlaw King. And to him, that cut was great until he sat there and he realized, to me, not to an audience. And then what was his biggest thing in that IndieWire article? Killing your darlings. I don't know how many directors, when it's their own personal films, like Drew Goddard? Who did El Royale? Or what? Who was?
I think pretty sure.
First Man? What was the third one that was mentioned?
22 July, the Paul Greengrass one.
Who produces his own movies? We get to a point in where we argue about studios all the time, cutting stuff for the sake of, you know, marketability. And you're right. A lot of these superhero movies, the Russos is a different case, but you're right. I see a bunch of other superhero movies and I just go, shorting it to 90 minutes, the amount that you would make their box office is nothing compared to adding those extra scenes for more merchandise. For more exposure, for all that. So I get why they put the extra scenes in there.
I feel like the extra scenes or this extra length, it could maybe come down to a bit of almost too much creative control on behalf of these filmmakers.
So that's what I'm talking about when it comes to these guys.
Yeah, I'm not trying to criticize that. Like, I do like filmmakers to be able to dictate what their movies end up like. But at the same time, I think sometimes creators, and I know I feel this with my stuff too, it can be really hard to kind of get out of your own head and, you know, you think this scene needs to be there because it connects to that scene and it resolves that character. It doesn't. Again, not everybody's going to feel that way. Not everybody's going to get that. And I think sometimes we're going to, you know, these directors maybe need a little bit more outside voices to tell them, like, this just doesn't really feel necessary. Because there's movies that just feel overly long for no particular reason. And there's movies that, you know, I mean, I know there's movies that I've watched the extended cuts for, and I've loved some of the stuff that's been cut out. So it also makes me think if there's a world in which Netflix would be releasing like the 2-hour cut and the 3-hour cut at some time in the future.
It should be possible. If you can pull up and change the language, you can pull up and change the subtitles and a bunch of the stuff in there. Why would you not be able to do that?
Right.
You know, they have different Netflixes for different people. I think of a movie like Searching, right? That movie legit changed every single text. I already seen some of the stuff in Russian. Like they changed every single article and stuff in there. So to have something like that, we are able to swap out. It doesn't have to be 2 titles. Just have it right there. Blade Runner. Click it. Bloop. Remember when your DVD used to do that?
Right.
Theatrical or unrated, and then you just pick one and you watch it. But you're right. I don't know if you've ever talked to producers who say this, that some of the most annoying directors to work with are the ones who wrote the script.
Right.
So it's like, when they write the script, everything they wrote they think is important, as opposed to being detached to it and someone else writing the script. I think that's one of Fincher's biggest advantages. Mm-hmm. The fact that Fincher's always taking another piece of work.
He comes in a lot and just completely alters someone's script. Or, you know, when you look at a movie like Social Network, I feel like that movie is just refined Aaron Sorkin, because you get David Fincher just skimming off the top all the best parts of an Aaron Sorkin script and cutting the bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I Love Steve Jobs. Yes. That's what he did. Yes. That's what it looked like without David Fincher. And I like that movie, but yeah, that's what it is.
I'm curious if you feel the difference between movies and TV, because something that's always kind of been mysterious to me is the way that people, and I include myself in this, are so much more willing to watch 3 hours of a television show than a 3-hour or even like a 2.5-hour movie.
I've said this to me multiple times. Yo, you guys want to watch this? Oh no, that's like, bro, that's like 110 minutes. All right, what do you want to do? They proceed to watch an entire season of The Office. I've never understood it. This happens in my house all the time. Like, when it comes to watching a 2-hour movie or 10 episodes of a show, people will literally watch the entirety of the thing. I don't know if it's a psyche thing, if maybe it's because it's cut into chapters. So the fact that it's episodic, people feel like, oh, I'm just another one. Just another one. As opposed to pausing in the middle of a movie is a little weird.
Yeah, you get like a chance to get a break every half an hour or every hour.
And I guess that psyche kind of helps people into thinking, oh, you see, there is something that I can do about it, and take checkpoints in a sense. It's like a video game. It's a little bit of checkpoints. But yeah, I always find that funny.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's something simpler. It's just that TV is much more efficiently paced. TV has to fit into a real structure.
Kinda.
Fine, like maybe not every single show. Like, yeah, The Walking Dead second season has some of the worst pacing in all of entertainment.
It's still going on.
But you know, I think if you talk about a good TV show, a good episode of Breaking Bad is going to utilize every single minute of its 50-something minute runtime. They're gonna care about every act break. They're gonna care about making you follow from scene to scene. They don't have time for extraneous stuff. I feel like, you know, a movie, it's working on a longer timeline, so some of the questions are taking longer to resolve, and it's just not that necessarily as immediately rewarding as TV can feel sometimes. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's like any better or worse. It's just, like you said, it's the maybe it's that it's shorter. It makes it that much more digestible. I know that like the Romanoffs is the length of a feature film, and I'm taking my sweet time getting to episode 3 of that one.
See, so that's like, it's supposed to be like, there's like 5 episodes out, right? For me, there's 15 episodes out, because each one I'm splitting into 3.
It's tough, man.
I'm not sure how much more we have to add to this, because you know it's all about keeping it short, sweet, and to the point. It's going to be really interesting that bringing up that debate between movies and TV. How the Walking Dead movie's going to feel as opposed to the show. How the Breaking Bad movie's going to feel as opposed to the show. Then we're going to be like, wow, mediums really are important.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we all the time we're talking about like, oh, this video game should become a movie, or this TV show should become a movie, or let's make a TV show of this movie.
Oh, I really love this comic, not realizing that it works best in this format and not. Yeah.
And I'm very curious to see, like, maybe The Walking Dead will be revived by a film format. Maybe Breaking Bad will look farcical in a movie format. It'll be interesting questions for a later date. Hopefully you felt this conversation was exactly as long as it needed to be and not longer. We're going to move on to our final segment of the week, the New to See, where we break down what's new in theaters, to streaming, and on VOD, starting with November 16th in theaters. Fantastic
Trash!
Beasts and the Crimes of Johnny Depp, Instant Family, and Widows.
Yes.
Yes.
You already know what it is. Did you catch Widows?
Yeah, I caught Widows.
We'll
We'll talk about it more later.
Didn't we not say we said the one thing on film Twitter where there will be peace?
This is the movie that will unite America finally.
And then I remembered Grindelwald. But maybe everyone will simultaneously hate it, so they'll just be like, let's forget about that. Widows.
Yeah. Also out in theaters this weekend in limited release, Heart Baby, Teen Con, Jonathan, The Last Race, At Eternity's Gate, and Green Book. Art, you caught Green Book.
I did. It is the best movie of the year. It's a good movie. It's fine. It's great. It won TIFF. Some people would say it's a bad thing. It's good.
It's fine. They put it on the poster.
It's a fun movie.
It's a fun movie. They put it on the poster.
Lisa Cardinelli. That's all I'll say.
New to streaming on Netflix November 15th, May the Devil Take You and The Crew. On November 16th, Cam, Narcos Mexico, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, The Kominsky Method, and The Princess Switch. Big week for Netflix. Then on November 18th, The Pixar Story, and on November 20th, Trevor Noah's new stand-up special, Son of Patricia.
Speaking of Trevor Noah, have you caught the guy who was his correspondent? He has his show.
Hassan Minhaj?
Have you caught his stuff? How is it?
No, but I've been hearing really good things. So hopefully we can catch up on that and maybe talk about it a little bit on future shows. Let us know in the comments down below if you've seen any of the Patriot Act with Hassan Minhaj.
Well, wait. We're waiting. Commented below. We won't continue.
Let's go. Let's go. Actually, I gotta find my notes now. On HBO Now on November 17th, Sesame Street's 49th season premiere, as well as Pacific Rim Uprising. Yeah, I didn't see it, and I don't really care to.
It doesn't matter.
Amazon, our new favorite streaming platform, Amazon, on November 15th, the people's favorite, critics hate it, Gotti.
Wow.
Art's favorite movie of 2018 so far.
Amazon subscription.
November 16th, Kung Fu Panda, The Paws of Destiny Season 1A, as well as Coldplay, A Head Full of Dreams. November 17th, were you going to say something?
No, I thought that was, because they made a big deal, that was a one-night theater event coming to Amazon the next week.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
On November 17th, two films that came out earlier this year, McQueen and Siberia. Then on November 21st, Loving Pablo, the Escobar movie that premiered at last year's Venice Film Festival with Javier Bardem, Penelope Cruz, and Peter Sarsgaard. Hulu on November 16th, The Bisexual Season 1. This is a new show created by and starring Desiree Arcavin, the director of Miseducation of Cameron Post, who we like so much.
Oh.
Yeah. I heard about the show and was a little bit put off by the title. Mm-hmm. I feel like anytime that you make your show like the demographic, it's potentially setting yourself up for failure. Yeah. But I really like Desiree Arcavin, so I'm going to have to check this one out.
Watch it be good, and then it gets the Dear White People effect, where it's a good show.
Exactly, right?
And then you're like, oh, I don't know. It's like, bro, you know what you did. I'm a fan of your show. You know what you did.
November 16th, 18th, the Jet Li martial arts classic, Hero. It's actually one that I haven't seen, but I've been recommended it many times. Movie. November 21st, one of the worst movies I've seen all year, Damascus Cover, is available to stream for any Olivia Thirlby completists. Then on new to VOD, November 16th, Speed Kills, The Long Dumb Road, The Farm, and Jonathan. I'm actually kind of curious about The Long Dumb Road. This is the one with Tony Revioli, I don't know how to say it. Yeah,
me, the
Zero,
A to Z show,
and Jason Mantzoukas.
I missed it. I swapped out tickets. Actually, I didn't even swap them out. I lost $50 that day at Sundance because I was able to go get tickets to go see Wildlife. I chose Wildlife over this, but I am curious about it. They were like the one people at Sundance who came in with T-shirt cannons.
Yeah, I don't imagine that's a very frequent thing at
it's
Sundance.
finally out. It's finally out. The movie I paid $50 to see and didn't watch. Yeah.
Then November 20th, some very interesting films from earlier this year: We the Animals, Crazy Rich Asians, and Blind Spotting, a movie that Art and I liked quite a bit. They're all available on VOD. You're also a big fan of We the Animals.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why I heard it as American Animals.
No,
yeah,
which you're also a fan of, so I don't know why you hesitated.
I like American Animals, okay?
Not as much as We the Animals.
American Animals is a good movie. It's fine. We the Animals, though, that one's a good one. That's the one, for me, of this year, the one that gets, I'm not going to call it experimental, but that gets, what did I say? It was like the Moonlight Florida Project.
You said it's kind of like a mixture of the two.
It's a mixture of the two in following from the child's perspective, in that sense. I think it's really good. I think the way that it's told, some may see it as pretentious. I don't at all. I love the Q&A with the guy. I always go back. I love quoting what he said. He says, thank you for coming to the screening. I hope you like it just a little bit because I put my heart and soul into it. I put all my heart and soul into it. So I liked it. It was good.
Very cool. Very cool. Those are the new to see, but it's time for our picks of the week. Art, what do you recommend?
Y'all, if y'all don't go home and watch Homecoming right now, I don't know what else to tell you. It's that good that I usually start with the theater pick. I'm starting with this. You got to watch Homecoming, watch the entirety of the whole thing. It is 10 episodes long.
Yeah. And they're half an hour episodes.
27 minutes. And you want to know what's part of the 27 minutes? The credits start. They don't cut to black. The credits just go. They just go over it.
Yeah.
My man's still packing his bag. The credits just go over it. Every single episode's like that.
I gotta say, it's one of the most like aesthetically pleasing shows I've seen all year. There's just a style to it that's really cool, and like I think the energy of it is just enchanting or intoxicating. I don't know, man.
To get into my pretentious bag of my film cinephile, bro, that was that one shot where I'm blanking on his name. Ben?
Steven?
No. The investigator.
Oh, I forget the character.
Wingham or something like that. I want to say Sean. I'm forgetting what the actor's name is, but you've seen him in a lot of things. The investigator, when he goes down the hallway, and the lights go on one.
Yeah, that was so dope.
I'm like, why is this just like? It's just.
That's just like a little touch that.
It looks like a painting.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that a lot of shows would do that same scene and not do anything with it. Mm-hmm. But they do that, and that just brings it to a whole other level.
Do you remember the drone shots?
Yeah, of course.
This is a show to rewatch. This is like I've always talked about this. Again, I'm still in the bag. I'm still in the pretentious area of like having a monitor, like instead of a painting, a monitor that just plays a movie in your house on silent. This would be one of those.
You mean what I do a little bit off screen?
Probably. But whenever I'm talking, he just gets bored. He just watches that whatever Punch Drunk Love.
Right now, it is the Royal Tenenbaums. So.
And then he goes, honey, why is our light bill so high? Where's all the data going? So anyways, yeah, I recommend Homecoming. And then if you're going out to theaters, Widows, because it's going to cure everybody. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was going to be one of my picks for the week as well. Widows, it's awesome. I think you are very on point in sort of saying like it's the movie that Ocean's 8 could have been. I think.
Yes.
You know, it's got a really fun heist element to it, but there's a lot of really interesting things kind of happening like just below the surface of this movie that aren't really being commented on by the movie. They just kind of exist within the movie.
You saw Viola Davis's thing?
Yeah. We both saw that thing that was going around on Twitter that great. Viola Davis was talking about. But even beyond that, you know, there's just a lot of really interesting context. And it's one of those movies, I think a lot of times you can tell a filmmaker is particularly good at his job when characters who appear for just like one scene or one line feel like fully rounded people, feel like people you know. And Steve McQueen is very good at that, at giving you just a little bit of personality and letting you know a lot about these characters. Really great performances, really fun too. Like, you can't normally say that about a Steve McQueen movie.
Can we say that you've seen the trailers of this thing?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I try to avoid as many as possible, but this one kept coming on. And after seeing the movie, I'm watching this trailer and I'm going, that's not the movie I saw.
Yeah, I mean,
Right?
they definitely make it seem to be like it's going to be this like dramatic, tragic kind of thing.
Action thing. And the thing is that it's not like just our perception of like, oh, well, we saw it more lighthearted. No, they literally have comedic lines from the movie rearranged to be dramatic stuff. Get some guns. Where am I supposed to get some guns? Figure it out. That's not the line in the movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I keep hearing that. I'm like, all right, yeah, y'all really twisted this, because that one comes out very comedic. That was probably the biggest laugh at the theater, and that's not how the trailer delivers it. But
yeah, it's not quite like Ocean's quality silliness, but it's definitely going for jokes.
Oceans didn't have that long take drive home.
Whew. Yeah.
Didn't I tell you about that shot?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, and that's the thing with Steve McQueen is every now and then he'll give you a shot like that, and
you just watch it
realize,
and then you just like slowly just pay more close attention to it, and you're like, okay, that was good. And then what it signifies.
Right. It's actually a very, very smart shot in the movie. We can talk about it more later.
We'll talk about it more. We'll talk about it more.
My other recommendation, it's going to pop up on Netflix. It's The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. It's a new Coen Brothers movie. I don't know why this isn't like a bigger deal on film Twitter, but it's a Coen Brothers anthology, 6 stories that take place in the Old West with gunslingers and stuff. This is stuff they do really well. We've talked about how True Grit is a great movie of theirs in the past on this show. And for me, this is just a really breezy, fun set of stories. There's a really great chapter in the middle featuring Tom Waits panning for gold and talking to a pocket of gold in the dirt that he can't see. There's a way that the Coen brothers approach these characters where they're very relatable and they're very real, but they're also huge characters and they have very silly mannerisms, and they have weird accents sometimes, but I really loved this film. I loved the way that it goes from very slow to all of a sudden there's these big moments happening. So for me, the Tom Waits chapter is probably my favorite chapter. There's the funniest is probably how it opens with Tim Blake Nelson. I'm very curious to see what people think about The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. So that'll be on Netflix on Friday, November 16th. But that's it for this week's show. You can catch more from me, Zach Shevich, by following me on Twitter @ZShevich or on Instagram and Letterboxd, also @ZShevich. And check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/multiplexshowart. Where can people find more from you?
You can find me at The A to Z Show on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I updated my Letterboxd account. That is at The A to Z Show, but I switched it over to Let Me Explain, so that way, if you search me up, both pop up. I know some people search up Let Me Explain and they go, I guess he's not here. They don't know me. I still get asked for a face reveal every time, so I figured, why not?
Right. Yeah, the amount of people that don't realize you have 2 YouTube channels is a little crazy to me.
Bro, the amount of times that the A to Z Show gets called out for just mimicking Let Me Explain is hilarious. Like, bro, you are such a poser. And I go, what can I say?
You're the worst twin. You're always the worst twin.
But I signed up to be a patron. I ordered some merch from them as well. I was just like, you know what? I gotta walk the talk of the walk of the talk. Yeah. I can't just give $50 to the Jason Miskovskis movie. I gotta support real cinema over here. So before they get SoundClouded, I was like, you know what? Sure. Plus, I also wanted to change my username, and that's the only way to do it. But I ordered some shirts, and there were some really cool, dope ones. They have a Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, I was gonna get that one myself.
Cool. So I ordered it, and it turns out they're not even printed yet. So I'll be in New York by the time they come in. So that's super dope. Really Very excited cool. to see that. But yeah, you can find me at the A to Z Show on Letterboxd now. Like I said, I updated all 300 and something movies that I've watched so far this year. But as always, you can catch me not in the short ones. Not in the super long ones, but just the right length of podcast here.
Perfect length podcast. You can listen to it, every episode of it, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on your favorite podcatcher. I like Overcast. And then make sure you're subscribed not just to the audio podcast, but to the video feed on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/intercutpod, where you can watch our bright smiling faces as we deliver the latest in entertainment to you. Find new episodes of Intercut every Thursday, and please leave us a comment, like the video, consider heading over to iTunes and leaving us a 5-star review on the podcast.
All free.
Has to be 5 stars though, please.
I don't really care. Just leave a comment. I don't really care. I'm going to be straight with you. Any publicity is good publicity for me.
Yeah. We've had a lot of really great interactions on our Twitter, though, so keep those coming. And great comments, too. So thank you all we do read them, even if we don't respond to every single one. You can leave us comments and questions for future episodes that
let's do that. Yeah, let's do that. For those of you for next week, to show you that we do pay attention, leave us a comment down below, and we'll answer all of them next week, either for topic of the week or right before topic of the week. Any question that you ask, we will answer it in great detail.
There you go. That's an Intercut promise to the inner cuties out there.
No, the interviewers.
Ah, very good, very good. Also, like our Facebook, our Instagram, our Twitter pages. All of them are at Intercut Pod to get updates throughout the week from Art, from me, from all our guests that appear here on Intercut. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, Ebert said it best, no good movie is too long, and no bad movie is short enough.
That's true. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's a pretty smart guy. He's gonna go places.